All right, folks, we are back for another game of Sudoku. And it's a medium puzzle. Let's take a look at it here. All right, I'm liking to look for pairs. So I'm seeing a lot of pairs. Like here's a pair of nines, here's a pair of sevens, here's a pair of fives, twos. So I'm just kind of looking how the pairs are laying out. So these twos here, I notice they take the left and the center. Only spot left up here in this top cube for a two is top right there. Now we have some pairs of twos over here, right and left, and then we have that new one we just put in goes across the top. So only spot for a two here is in the bottom middle. I like these kinds of patterns like this. It gives a good indicator for some simple eliminations. Let's see what other fun numbers we get here. Pair of threes, pairs of sixes. I'm only seeing 1 8 in the puzzle, so that one's going to be a little tricky. So I'm kind of looking at that one here. I only have three numbers missing in the middle. So anytime I have two or three numbers, I always kind of like to see what they are. So we have a 1, we have a 2, we need a 3. Now a 3 can go here, a 3 could go here, and a 3 could go here. We've got a 4. Now we need a 5. Now a 5 can't go on the top because there's a 5 there, and it can't go here because there's a 5 here. So this is the only spot left for a 5. 6, 7, 8, and we need a 9. Well, the 9 can't go here, so our 9 goes up here. And then I think the 3, right? 1, 2, 3 was the number we were missing. So there we go. Don't be afraid to skip a number if you're not sure where it goes. Here's a 5 in the left, 5 through the center, so the only spot left for a 5 is right there. Now we have a 5 top and a 5 left right there. Only spot for a 5 up here is right there. We now have a 5 in the left, 5 through the middle, 5 through the center. Only spot left for a 5 is right there. So one of these two is a 5 and one of these two is a 5. We will come back to that feller here in just a little bit. So this cube up here in the top left only has three numbers. So let's look at those. 1, 2, 3. We need a 4. Well, it can't be in the bottom. Okay, so I'll mark it. If I've only got 2, I'll mark it. There we go. 5, 6, 7. And we need an 8. Remember, that's the only 8 in the puzzle, so it's going to be a little tricky for us. And then we need a 9. Well, the 9 can't be here in the middle. So 9 is either going to go top, stretch my fingers, or bottom. Okay, so that one is all good except for the 8. We still need to come back and find the 8 there, which is okay. All right. Now I'm looking here at the center cube, and I know a pair of 6s. I see them here, 6 through the middle, 6 through the bottom. Only spot left for a 6 is right there. Now I only have 3 spots left, so I need a 1. I need a 2. Well, the 2 can't be in the bottom or the top, so that means my 2 has to go here in the middle somewhere. And then I need a 3, which can go anywhere. I don't have any help for my 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I need an 8. Okay. Well, we'll leave that to be. So let's look in this center cube for just a moment. I got a 1 and a 1. So that tells me a 1 and a 1. I've got a 2 and a 2, which tells me a 2 and a 2. Not sure about the 3 just yet, but not across the top. 4, 5, 6, we need a 7. So I have a 7 and a 7. So the 7 can go across the top. My 8 can be pretty much anywhere. And then my 9 can be one of the top two. Okay, so that kind of marked it out a little bit, just for some giggles. I do notice a pair of 7s and 7s here, bottom and middle, right and left. So our 7 here has to go in the top. Now I do notice across the top row here, I only have 3 numbers missing. 1, 2, there's my 3, I need a 4. 4 could go here. Now 4 could go any one of these two spots. 5, 6, 7, I need an 8. Could be either one of those. And then I need a 9, which only could be here or here. Cannot have a 9 here because that one So we still have 4s and 8s that could go pretty much anywhere over there. So I'm just going to hold off on marking that just for a moment. Okay, so with this being a medium puzzle, well, there's something called a ghost row. Let's come back to that here in just a moment. I got a pair of 3s, left and center, middle and bottom. So this cube, the only place to put a 3 is here. Okay, so let's talk about a ghost row here really quick. Up here in this top right cube, I need a 1, so I know that's got to be here or here because I can't have it in the middle or the top. I've got a 2. Now I need a 3. Now this 3 says it can't be in the right. This 3 says it can't be in the top. So I know one of these two has to be a 3. So this is what I call a ghost row. I know it's a column, but I just call it a ghost. So if I follow these 2 3s through this whole column, I cannot have a 3 anywhere else because it has to be one of those two in this cube. So this column, even those are okay, there's a 3 there, but see this one right here, there's no 3 horizontally. But it still cannot be a 3 because one of these two has to be a 3. So that's what I call a ghost row or a ghost column. So that tells me that in this cube, these two cannot be 3. This one can't be a 3 because of the top. This one can't be a 3 because of the right. So the only place left is a 3 here. Now you have a 3 here and a 3 here. Now folks, this is what I call a double elimination. Because of these 3s and these 2s, these two are the only two spots that can have a 2 and a 3 in this cube. That means that no matter what, these two numbers, like remember how we couldn't find 8s? Even 8s can't fit in here because these 2s and 3s double eliminate them from even being a possibility. So the 2s and 3s are now locked. They are stuck. There is nothing you can do to move them. There's nothing you can do to put them anywhere else in this cube or in this column, columns or rows. These will be a 2 and a 3 no matter what we do. But what that does is it tells me what these two are. 1, 2, 3, or whichever one those are. 4, 5. I need a 6. So a 6 has to be in one of these two. And then I've got my 7, and then I need an 8. So these two are now double locked as 6s and 8s. They cannot be anything else but 6s and 8s because of this double elimination. Now that also frees up some possibilities up above. Like if I had a 9 or an 8 up here where there still could be 4 possibilities, that would just now give me 2 possibilities, another double lock, which that can be handy. And you'll see the harder the puzzles, they use more intricate techniques for hiding their patterns. So just wanted to point those particular ones out. Ghost rows, ghost columns, very important. And double locking, very important. Okay, so I'm looking here at this particular cube. So I know this has to be a 6 or an 8. I do have a 6 that goes across the top, so I know that one of these two has to be my 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Do I have a 4? I do not have, well, I have a 4 down here, so one of these three could be a 4. Now I'm looking at my 5, and I have a 5 down the right, 5 through the center, so one of these two has to be my 5, and I think I identified that, I just didn't mark it. Okay, and one of these two has to be my 5. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay, so I know this is a 9 or this is a 9. Okay, one of these two has to be a 9. Okay. All right. Just letting my mind kind of wander. We've kind of done a lot up here. I'm kind of looking at these bottom three. Like this 4 that comes down tells me that one of these two has to be a 4. Let's see what else. I'm just kind of letting the numbers drop on me here. Okay, we've got the 5 already over. Okay, we do have a 7 in the middle and a 7 on the right. So, oh, it almost got me. It almost got me. I thought I'd missed it. All right, so we do have to have a 7 top or bottom because we have a 7 in the left and the right. Okay. Let's see what else we have pairwise. We've got a pair of ones down the center and down the right, so we know a 1 has to go here. Let's see what else we have. 7s and 2s and 9s. Okay, so there comes a point where I kind of feel like I'm kind of slipping in my mind a little. And what I do, the next thing I do is I start to number everything out. And that will help me to see things that because like I'm still using my brain to try to remember what some of the numbers are. So for instance, up here in this top left cube, I know these are the 4s and the 9s, but the number I don't have listed in this cube is an 8. So I'm going to mark it out. So this cube is completely 100% marked out. Those are the only possible numbers that are left for it. And that's going to help me kind of resolve these here a little bit. So I got a 1. One of these two is a 2. Now I need a 3. Now I don't have, like I said, I only like to mark them when there's only 2 left, but I don't have that possibility right now. So I'm going to mark them all just to help my mind. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I need an 8. Now an 8 can go anywhere, just like that. Okay, so let's look in this cube here. I need a 1, which I've already got marked. One of these two is our 1. All right, we've got a 2. We've got our 3 possibly marked right here. We need a 4 that can't be across the bottom. So 4 could go anywhere here. 5, 6, 7. Now we need an 8. Now an 8 can go anywhere. So it's very important when I do this is I gotta, even if I don't like it, and then one of these two is my 9. So these top 3 cubes are fully marked out. Okay, so that's going to help me just out a little bit here. Where do we want to go next? Let's go over here. 1, 2, 3. We need a 4, and it can't be across the bottom. 4, 4, 4, 5. We need a 6. Well, the 6 cannot be in the top or the right. So here we go, folks. We have that. Remember that ghost row? These two are the only two that can be a 6. So we have this 6 down the right, this 6 down the center. So now one of these two has to be a 6. Now we have a double lock right here, folks. These 1s and these 6s say that these two cannot be anything else other than a 1 and a 6. Okay, so if you also want to verify that, if you look up here, there's a 1 and a 6, so they can't be here. And if you look here, there's a 1 and a 6. So these two are now resolved, which helps us to shorten our numbering. Okay. So we've got a 1, we've got a 2, we've got a 3, we've got our 4s marked, 5, we've got our 6s marked, possibly where they would go. We've got our 7 marked. Now where could our 8 go? Our 8 can go everywhere. So we're going to do 8, 8, 8. We're just going to put them everywhere. And then we need a 9. And a 9 cannot go on the bottom, but it could go everywhere else. So 9, 9, 9, but not on the bottom. Okay. All right, let's look at this center cube. We've got our 1s, our 2s, our 3s, 4, 5, 6, our 7s. Now our 8 can go everywhere. 8, 8, 8. But it can't be in these bottom two. Remember, we have those double locked, so that's very important. Okay, then we need our 9s, and our 9 can go 9, 9, 9, 9. All right, so now that one is fully marked out. Okay, let's take a look over here. 1, 2, 3. 4 cannot be in the bottom. 4, 4, 4. 5 is marked. 6 is marked. 7. Now our 8 can be here or any of these ones. 8, 8, 8, just like that. All right, so now that's fully marked out. All right, let's come down here. We've got our 1, 2, 3. We need a 4. Our 4 can be any one of those. We've got our 5, got our 6, got our 7. Now we need an 8. Now an 8 cannot be across the top or the left because these two are double locked. So our 8 goes here, here, or here. And then we need a 9. 9 comes through the middle here, so this could be a 9. Oop, let me stretch my fingers. Just like that. And those are our only possibilities for those ones. All right, so I'm just kind of looking, seeing if anything jumps out. If you guys see it, go for it. You know, I do always suggest pausing it. You can print these off. I even suggest maybe even printing a couple copies in case you need to start over. I do that from time to time. Okay, let's take a look here in the center cube here. We need a 1, which I don't have any help for the 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 cannot be down the left side because we have a 6 up here. So let's 6 mark those. We have a 7 that goes through the middle, but 7 can be everywhere else. We've got an 8. Now we've got a 9 that goes through the middle. So 9 can be everywhere else. 9, 9, 9. Okay. Well, awful lot of numbers there, folks. I'm having a hard time starting to see some of these, but we'll just keep on going here and see if we can sort these out a little bit. All right, so let's look down. This cube is our last one. 1 goes right down the middle. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we need a 4, and that can be everywhere. 4, 4, 4, 4. We've got our 5 identified. Okay, we have a 6 that comes down the center. And then 6 can be everywhere else. 7, and then we need an 8 that can't be across the top. So you'll notice right there, folks, there can be no other number here. And if we count this, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's kind of funny that that's our last spot. But when I do this, that is going to help resolve a lot of issues. Okay, so I can't have a 4 here. I'm going to clean up my pencil marks. Can't have a 4 in any of these. Okay, I'm just getting rid of my 4s. All right. Oh, and can't have a 4 here anymore. All right, so you see now we have this double lock 5 and 8, which is great. All right. Okay, now one of these two is a 4. Okay, this can't be a 4 because of this way. This can't be a 4 because of this way. So right here, folks, this is where that ghost row comes really important. Tells me that there cannot be any other 4s in this column because of these two. One of them has to be a 4. So that's going to tell me this is the only spot left for a 4. Now this is going to kind of start to cascade. There's my 8. Now if that's an 8, there's my 3. Okay. Now you'll notice there's a 3 and an 8, so the only number left that can be here is a 1, and the only number left that it can be here is a 9. All right. So now we're just going to slowly go through and cascade. This is it. We've got our 4 and our 8. There's our 9. Now if I take a 9 out, that makes this one our 8. If I take the 8 out, that makes this one our 4. Now if that's a 4 and an 8, well, this is the only one could be a 9. Okay. So now we're going to go through, and here's our 8, so there's a 3. So the only two numbers left here are a 2 and an 8. Let's clean that up. Clean up my pencil marks. Okay, so we've got our 3. One of these two, remember they're double locked as a 2 and a 3, so that has to be a 3. Has to be a 2. Now we know that this is a 2. Well, now this is an 8. Now this is a 2. Now I did a lot of pencil marks, folks, and I don't normally do that. So I have to be very careful not to mess my pencil marks up while I'm going. So it's very important to keep your pencil marks so that you can clean them up. When I first One of the first people I tried to help way back in the day was a really good friend of mine, my neighbor, who's retired, and that's what he would do. Is he had fun with this with the Sudoku, and he would write down every single pencil mark. I mean, so much so that his paper was falling apart from all the scratchings of erasers, and kind of felt bad for him a bit. Um, and I was trying to get him to write less pencil marks. So find what works for you, but try not to don't get yourself overwhelmed by all the pencil marks. Okay. All right. So see this, remember folks, we were talking about the double lock. See how this is a 1 and a 6 and it's double locked? Well, look at this here too. This row now double locks this 1 and 6. So that tells me this one here cannot be a 1 or a 6. Now these two 7s and 9s are double locked. Okay, that's kind of a neat way to do some eliminations. All right. Let's see what else we have. I know we're going to They're all just going to fall into place here, but I'm just taking my time to make sure I get my numbers correct without tripping on myself. Okay, so we have our 8 here. So that tells me this one here cannot be an 8. Just cleaning up my pencil marks. I do have a 1 here, so this one cannot be our 1. All right, so just cleaning up my pencil marks. All right, and then see this 8 here can't be here, so let's clean up our 8 and our 8. Okay, there we go. That's looking a lot cleaner. All right, okay. 4, 5, and 6, that's very good. Okay, I'm looking for some of those ghost rows. All right, I do have this 9 here. I just cleaning up my pencil marks. Let's get rid of these 9s here. So that gives me a ghost row here, but let me get rid of these 9s. We don't need these 9s anymore because we've got the 9. Okay, so we have 4, 6, and 8. Now when we get rid of this 9, and we get rid of this 9 in this column, this is the only spot left for a 9. Now this 9 comes through here. Only spot left for a 9 is here. Now that we have this 9, we'll go with this 7. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean up our pencil marks. Clean up the pencil marks here. Let's get rid of the 9s we just put in. There we go. Okay, now these two are 7 and 8. Those are the only two numbers left for 7 and 8. Is that right? Because what that'll do is that'll double lock 7 and 8, and that'll tell us this is a 5 and this is a 4. But I just want to make sure I didn't mess that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could be a 7 or 8 or a 9. Okay, so that's right. Let me double check this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is where I didn't want to get myself pencil marked in. These two now double lock again. That means these two can only be a 7 or an 8. That means this one cannot be an 8 anymore. So that has to be our 5, that has to be our 4, that has to be our 6. And we can get rid of the 8s here because we already have a 7 and an 8 locked into place. Okay, and then there's our 1 and our 9s that are locked, but we do have a 9 we just resolved. So there's our 1, there's our 9. Okay, so we have our 6. So only one of these two is a 6. Well, it can't be the middle one anymore, so this one is now our 6. Let me clean up my 6. So we have a 4 and an 8. And that matched the 4 and an 8 down here. We'll get rid of this 9, cleaning up my pencil marks. All right, now these two, we've got our 5 here. So that makes this one our 5, makes this one our 8. Okay, so now I'm going to clean up my pencil mark. Get rid of the 8. Now if this is our 6, that makes this one our 8. Okay, so you can see, just take your time and clean up those pencil marks. Here's a 1. Tells us this cannot be a 1. That makes this one a 6. Now, if this is a 1 and a 6, well, in this column, this has to be a 7. And that being a 7 now makes this an 8. That being an 8 makes this a 7. Okay. All right, now we can get rid of our 7 here. We're just cleaning up the pencil marks. Got a 1 and a 4. Now I'm looking here, and it looks like I cannot have an 8 here, and I cannot have an 8 here. So this is the only spot left for an 8. Now that tells me this is a 4, tells me this is an 8, tells me this is a 4. Okay, now if that's a 4, then that's a 1, and that's a 4. If that's a 1, then that one's a 6. That's a 1, and if that's a 1, there's a 6, and there's a 1. There you have it, folks. It was interesting that when I was doing my numbering, it was the very last cell that was the one that let us resolve all of them. I usually don't get that far, and you saw how cluttered and messy it can look if you get too many pencil marks. And just be very careful with your pencil marks. I have messed myself up more times than I want to count when I was erasing and I missed a pencil mark, or I forgot a pencil mark, or I over erased and I messed myself up in the puzzle. So mediums are very important again for the single eliminations, double eliminations, double locking. If there's two cells, it can only be two numbers. That's a great lock. And ghost rows are also a lot of fun. So I hope you guys had fun watching, and please feel free to leave any comments, challenges, or suggestions. I welcome them all, and hope you guys all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.